People will be like, this guy, the way he is and where he comes from and stuff like that, he ain't gonna make it. He's got too much attitude. He's too this, he's too that. My mom told me she's proud of me, you know, because she knows my story, what I've been from, where I come from. Jamaica is a nice place, but it's also a very dangerous place as well. If you grew up with no family as a kid, it's easy to get into gangs. It's easy for people to usually shop around drugs and to do stuff. There's people I know that growing up, they went missing and we never saw them again. I'm just so surprised and so grateful to still be alive, man, and be free, not be in prison. I'm in a position in my life, I'm inspiring people, I'm motivating people, and then a bonus is the fact that I'm doing something good. I'm not out robbing or selling drugs, just killing myself to find day-to-day expensive, you know what I mean? I was glad that I worked my way to like top 3 boxer in the world. I'm just so grateful and so privileged, because like I said, you know, I thought I'd have been dead by early 20s. I just been in prison, because that's the lifestyle I was living. It's my time, and we'll see how well he copes with the maximum violence round after round. I might go to sleep and I wake up tomorrow, make hay where the sun shines.
The world is changing. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, share, and bring people together. We're learning from others and finding the best in ourselves. Challenging our beliefs. Sharing our vulnerability. Overcoming our fears. Transforming ourselves so we can transform the world. How far can we go?
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is...
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Dillian Whyte, the British professional heavyweight boxer with a career record of 26 wins, 18 by way of knockout, and only 1 loss. You are currently ranked number 3 as a heavyweight boxer in the world, behind Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, and for over 1,000 days you've been waiting for your chance to fight for a world title. You are currently in your final week of training camp before your upcoming fight with Alexander Povetkin, the dangerous former world champion and Olympic gold medalist. A win should guarantee you a world title fight against either Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. Dillian, welcome to London Real.
Hey, how are you doing, man? Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Hey, great to have you here. How you feeling, champ? I mean, and also what happens on the final week of training? Are you still sparring? Or are you just doing cardio? Or are you just kind of tapering down right now?
No, I finished sparring. I'm a little tired because obviously training's been hard. You know, I feel exactly I should feel a little bit tired, a little bit beat at the minute. You know, obviously did my loss. I finished sparring last week. This is my last sort of like mid-intensity week, and then it goes down. I just have from I think Tuesday, it's just all short explosive stuff now and just staying sharp. You know, just managing the weight and stuff and just, you know, staying sharp, getting a sweat on, you know, working in the game plan, just finalizing everything, working my defense, you know, and throwing sharp punches and stuff, and just blowing up my cardiovascular system short explosively and just recovering now. So everything is recovering and tapering down now.
Okay, will your weight stay the same until fight, or will it drop a little bit?
Well, it depends. Sometimes it's a bit harder. It's hard to say because obviously you have a set weight you're meant to reach. Sometimes you get there and then you just dip a little bit under because of all the weeks and the intensity and metabolism. You know, train your metabolism to speed up and stuff. Sometimes you drop a little bit more, or sometimes you just a little bit more, a little bit less. You know, it depends.
Okay, and you're down in Portugal. I mean, you had some kind of weird spidey sense or something. You got the hell out of Dodge when things started getting weird here, which kind of allowed you to do this training camp. Is that right?
Yeah, you know, I got a good team of people around me who's very observant. They keep an eye on everything, and you know, they keep me in light of what's happening. And we speak a lot, and we figured out this might happen or that might happen, or this could be a possibility. And then sometimes we just say, okay, you know what, just to be safe, we have a private setup out there where we can still train in case anything happened. Because my last fight, I had a lot of things going on, and I put, I think, I put a lot of weight on, a lot of extra weight on, you know. So when in the ring fighting, I was way out of shape and stuff like that. So we were like, okay, regardless what happened, we need to get the weight down and trim some weight off and start moving again and get the mind and mentality right. So we figured that, you know, we need to get a Dutch and just make sure, you know, we can actually train and train a good level while all this is going on. And we figured Portugal was the best option and the safest option as well.
Excellent, man. Look, I want to talk about this fight coming up with Povetkin because he's a dangerous guy. But
yes.
Look, you know, this isn't a boxing show, and I know a little bit about watching you heavyweights, but when I look at the landscape of the top 5 guys in the world, I mean, is it me or are all these guys ducking you? From Deontay to Tyson to Anthony Joshua, it seems like they want nothing to do with you, and I'm wondering why. Why do you think that is? Are you dangerous? Are they worried? What's your read on each one of these guys?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, I managed challenger. I was managed challenger to Dillian Whyte. I managed challenger to Tyson Fury. These guys, they say a lot of negative things about me. I'm a plodder. I'm slow. I'm this and that. But none of them don't want to fight me. So I have no idea. You know, I'm not one that's gonna say, "So yeah, you know, I'm the next great coming since Muhammad Ali and all of that." You know, but one thing I can say is I can fight and I will fight and I'll always come to fight. And these guys know this, so they can say whatever they want about me and all this, but they know when I come, you know, I bring maximum violence.
How do you feel when someone like Deontay says that the king doesn't go to see peasants? Or I know recently you said you left Tyson Fury crying in the ring when you sparred with him, and there's rumors Anthony Joshua was going to jump into the ring after your fight next Saturday. I mean, how do you feel when you hear things like this?
My mindset is whoever won it can get it. You know, that's my mindset. If Anthony just wants to jump in the ring when I fight, then he might get it there and then. You know, I don't know what's gonna go from my mind there and then. You know, I don't particularly like that guy. So if he gets in my face, then, you know, I'll smack I'll smack the S out of him straight away. But you know, me and Tyson Fury, we done a lot of sparring. There's days when he had his good days, and there's days when I have my good days. And he knows that as well. He knows that I can hurt him, and I carry the power to hurt him. And he knows I like to target the body, and that's one of Tyson Fury's weakest area. As you can see, he gets up from the head shots, and he moves his head, but he doesn't do well with the body shots. So he knows that. And for Dillian Whyte, what can I say? He's just an embarrassment, man. Just an embarrassment, you know. He wears a Black History costume for Black History Month, and then he loses, and then he blames the Black History costume for being too heavy. That's why he lost. It wore his legs out, walking 40 meters from the change room to the ring, wore his legs out. It's just crazy. It's actually crazy. It's crazy when you think about it. Okay, in a 40-pound costume, wears your legs out, you're 230 pounds. It's crazy.
Do you have any respect for Deontay and, you know, some of those KOs that he puts together?
No, I don't have no respect for Deontay. I have no, you know, obviously the guy's got power and obviously he can knock people out and stuff, but he's just what he is. He's just, you know, I ain't got no respect for him. You know, I even if I did have respect for him, I lost respect for him for the way that he behaved as a WBC world champion. You know, avoiding his Manchester challenger and just making excuses after excuses, and as you can see from his last few fights, the guy is, you know, he's just, a lot of it is hype. You know, a lot of it is hype. A lot of the people he knocked out, those beat him all around the ring, but obviously, you know, he knocked him out. So credit where it's due, but the guy is terrible. And I've always said, if you fight Dillian Whyte and back him up and put him on the back foot, you knock him out. And that's exactly what Tyson Fury did. But I've been saying that for like 2-3 years.
Were you surprised how that last fight played out between Deontay and Tyson?
Not really. I wasn't surprised because I said it from a long time ago, you know, and I knew he was fighting someone just as big as him, just as tall as him, but heavier than him, and someone who actually take the fight to him, you know. And someone who he's knocked down last time, and they got up and still beat him for the rest of the 12th round after a heavy knockdown. So I know Tyson Fury had no fear for him. Obviously, Tyson Fury figured, okay, if he can't land the right hand, there's nothing else he can do. Literally, there's nothing else he can do apart from bowl that right hand over. There's nothing else he can do.
What's going to happen on Deontay Tyson 3, in your opinion?
I don't know. I don't want to see it, to be honest. I have no interest in that fight. You know, I don't think anyone's got an interest in that fight. I think it's just a fight where it's just happening because of contracts, really. I don't think it's happening for no other reason, because I believe Tyson Fury beat him twice.
Yeah. You said before that the only reason Tyson Fury didn't stay down in the first fight is because, as you say, Deontay never hit him to the body. And that gave him the strength to get up after that, pretty hard hit. So you would fight Tyson differently based on that, right?
I fight Tyson differently. I jab him more. I throw more jabs. With Tyson Fury, you use the jab against him. Obviously, it's tough to fight. People probably laugh at that when I say that. But use the jab and target his body, because if you hit him in the head, obviously, you can knock him out, but it shows he can get from the head shots. But the body shots is what wears him down and what will take his legs and his will away from him. Everyone can be tough to the head, but once they start chipping some meat downstairs, these guys all break down. They'll break down.
So say these guys are fighting again. Say Tyson gets the win. That means you'll fight Tyson Fury next year if you win on Saturday, right?
One will hope so, but Tyson Fury doesn't seem to want to fight me as well. He's making all the same excuses Deontay Wilder is making. His promoter is making excuses, saying, we don't want the Dillian Whyte fight and stuff. And, it's just a lot of garbage. It's like from one garbage to another garbage, to be honest. It's terrible.
How do you deal with that frustration, Dillian?
Man, just the hope of Tyson Fury won't be a coward and vacate the belt and actually fight me, or have a proper fight for the belt, I don't want to work so hard and end up being a champion of a vacant belt. I want one of the Tyson Fury is the greatest fight in the world and whatever. I want to fight him. I want to fight the best people. I want to beat the best people. I just hope he won't be a coward. But he says he's a fighting man and he's a Gypsy King, so I doubt he will be a coward. I think he'll fight me. So let's see what happens. And if he don't fight me, then he should be known as the Gypsy Coward forever.
Have you called him that before? I think I have heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
He doesn't seem like the guy that if it's now plain as day that you have to fight, that could publicly just keep ducking you. It seems like with his persona, he would ultimately be like, okay, we got to do this. But I guess we'll see, right?
A lot of things seem one way, but in reality, it's another way. He knows obviously, Tyson Fury, there's a lot of challenge in fighting, but he knows what I will bring. He knows. And these guys say all this, but he knows what I'll bring. He knows.
Okay.
Because realistically, there's no reason why he shouldn't fight me. Deontay Wilder is injured. There's no reason I get through this fight. He should have fought me in December.
Yeah. What's you mentioned Anthony Joshua earlier. Now you guys, you used to have some respect for each other. I saw you in an interview a couple years ago and you're like, we respect each other. Obviously you had that really early fight when you guys were young where you won, but it sounds like that respect isn't there anymore.
I had respect when he lost on the rules. I support the guy, obviously being a fellow British fighter. And then after the fight, he just started talking a lot of crap and acting like he's a bad man and stuff and saying all of these things and stuff and like come on, man, And then they lied and they tried to make the fight with me when it was a lie. We're both matchroom fighters. You wanted to make a fight with me, the fight's easy to make. If you're realistic, everyone knows me. I don't hide from no one. Why would I turn an offer to fight Anthony Joshua if there's an offer there? All people really think about it. There was never any real offer. They wanted him to fight Joel Miller in America. That was the plan, because obviously the zone needed to recoup some of that money back that they're paying him and stuff like that. And they tried to use me as scapegoat and tried to make me look bad. So I'm just like, I've had enough of this, I want to go. I've already said I'll fight and winner takes all, I'll fight and winner takes all. That's what we do. He's Anthony Joshua, the great whatever. I'm just Dillian Whyte, the normal guy. Let's fight, winner takes all. How about that?
Why do you put the winner takes all in there? Because you're not motivated by money, are you, at the end of the day? I mean, that's not... Sorry
to cut you. I want to fight the best and beat the best, man. That's it, When it's all said and done and over, time's flying. Time ain't waiting for no one, We all getting on, strange things happening in the world every day. I just want to fight the best. When I'm older, I want to sit down and be like, yo, you know what? I fought him. A lot of these guys, when they retire, it's like, oh, like Roy Jones didn't fight Joe Kawasaki till he was such and such. Joe Kozaki didn't fight Carl Froch, it was such and such. Brendan Hopkins didn't. I don't want to be like that. You know, I want to be the guy, you know, I fought everyone while we were still good fighters and good contenders and in our prime, you know?
Does these times of COVID make you think that even more? Like, you don't know what's going to happen. You got to make hay while the sun shines. You got to make things happen now because, like you said, you don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Man, I think this times of COVID's done a lot for, you know, it's got a lot of people scared, and it's also motivated a lot of people as well. So, you know, it just shows, it's another thing in life that shows you that, you know, we take things for granted, small things like being able to go to the boxing, like being able to walk around the supermarket, you know, just shows you that taking it for granted, man. And like, now you go to the supermarket, a massive queue outside, you got to stand up and wait. You got to, you know, like, you can't go to the boxing. You can't, you know, like, I used to take for granted, oh yeah, this boxing this week and I'm not going to that. It's not a great show, or, oh yeah, whatever. So-and-so's fighting, I don't care. Now, I wish there was a boxing event I could just go to just to chill out, you know, a sporting event, you know. They're just teaching us to take nothing for granted and just to, you know, and that's what these guys need to realize. We all in our prime. Me, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, we cannot fight each other 3 or 4 times each or whatever, you know. We can just make a massive, you know, the top 4 heavyweights going for it. What's wrong with that? You know, so what? Win, lose, or draw, so what?
Let me ask you a question about Anthony Joshua. And I spoke to someone today, and I said, I'm talking to Dillian tonight, and I'll tell you who I spoke to who just after this. And I said, what should I ask him? And he said, Brian, I want you to ask him this question. He said, let's say you're back in 2015 again, and it's a week before the Anthony Joshua fight, and you wake up in the morning and you realize you got one arm. Your other arm's not working, right? You got one arm that you can fight this guy with. You got 2 choices. Do you power through like a warrior and go in that ring like you did, or do you postpone that fight and wait 6 months to where you can rehab it and then go in there? What would you do?
I would go in. I would go in, you know, because I know Anthony Joshua is a good fighter, but I know at the time he had vulnerabilities, as did I at the time. And one of those vulnerabilities was when he throws his right hand, when he retracts it, he doesn't answer the phone, as they say. He throws it and he comes back low because he overloads on the right hand. And my chance was to counter with the check left hook, and that's what I did. But unfortunately for me, it completely shattered my shoulder joint because my shoulder joint was already halfway finished. But I know going to the fight, and I'm a warrior. I'm a person that I'll still go in there. I'll just fight harder earlier. I'd just gone for it a bit earlier.
What happens again if you're in the ring with Joshua? How does that play out?
It would be a lot different this time. This time, I believe I can beat him. I believe I could beat him last time, and I was close to beating him. Now I'm much more polished. Now I have much more skill. I'm in better shape, you know. And thank God, touch wood, I'm injury free at the moment and stuff like that. You know, I'm training better, living better, better quality of life, and also I got more things at my disposal now because like everything, there's level. You go up in level. You know, you meet better people, you meet better doctors, you meet better physios, you meet better training people and better strength and conditioning people. Your overall life becomes better because you have more access to better nutrition and other things like that, you know. So it'd be a different story. It'd be a different story.
Okay. You know who asked me that question? You want to know?
Go on.
It was David Hay. He asked me that question.
Oh, yeah. Good old David.
He's an old friend of mine. We used to share a gym back in the day, so I still got some love for David. So I hope you guys are still cool.
David, cool people. I used to spar with David before I got into the boxing ring with anyone else. He was one of the first people I got into the boxing ring with. I was a nobody, you know, and he was on top of his game then.
Yeah, that's cool, man. All right, I'll send him some love from you, man. What about just as we round out those top ranks? What about Chisora? Is that something that would ever happen a third time? And also, you know, what's it like when he throws that right hand at you? And what's it like when he throws that conference desk at you?
It's just like, a child throwing a tantrum, really. Just like Derek just does, you know, he tries to intimidate people. He's a bit of a bully. He tries to intimidate people and he tries to act crazy and stuff and try to freak people out. But like, all of what he's doing, I've seen it before. I've had people throw table at me. I've had people come at me with knives, with guns. I just so, like I live a real life. I live a real life where I've been doing these things since I was a child. Not in my adult life. I was doing these things when I was like 13, 15, 14, 16. So for me, it was like you're just throwing a table in a press conference because you're trying to seem like you're a bad man or a fuck, but I know you're not. I know you're not, because you don't throw a table at someone and run towards the security. You throw a table, you run behind the table towards the person, but this is Derek. He tries to be crazy and try to act crazy and try to freak people out. Obviously, he's a big guy and people think, you know what? I'll just leave it alone because he can be a bit of a nightmare. But, like I say, I'm the cameraman. Whoever won it can get it. Simple as that. I'm not a troublemaker. I don't go around starting trouble. I'm not a bully. But if you step to me, then I'm ready to go.
Okay. What about Ruiz? Do you think we'll ever see him back in fighting form?
It depends. That he's gonna get in a plane to fly somewhere, and there's a lot of sweet shops in the airport. He might not make it to the destination. They unless they just like just have a closed tunnel that he just walks straight into where he's going, and that's it.
What happens there? I mean, is that a mentality where someone just sabotages themselves? Do you think he never thought he deserved it, or did he just get caught up being the champ and forgot to train? I mean, how do you forget to train?
You know what? Sometimes when you come from nothing and when you work hard and you graft hard for stuff and it comes slowly and you have to continuously graft and work and take risks, you can still blow it. But sometimes you're a bit more realistic and you think, you know what? My journey to here has been, so it makes you a bit more responsible. But Ruiz was just kennel fodder. It was kennel fodder. It was just nobody took a chance. Joshua had him beat 100 million times in his head. There's no way in history could have lost. And he went in there and knocked him out, and it just got to his head. Instead of training, he was out buying cars, buying jewelry, doing crazy stuff. I'm like, dude, you have all the belts at once. Like, yo, if you can't motivate yourself to train for the rematch for someone you just knocked out, then like you're never gonna motivate yourself ever again. It don't matter what you say. Oh, now you realize this and you realize that. And then also the first thing he did was fire his trainer as well, which is, dude, it's not your trainer's fault. It's not your trainer's job to get into the gym. Your trainer's job is to get you training once you get to the gym. You're a grown man. You're not his son. You're not under contract him. Your job is to get to the gym. Your trainer will train you. Your trainer gets in shape. And it's the same trainer that got you ready to beat Joshua. So now all of a sudden, you're going to leave Manny Robles blaming him. No, I think Manny Robles is a fantastic trainer.
Let's talk about you, man. You're the kind of guy that doesn't flinch when a desk is flying at your head. You're 32 years old, but you seem kind of old school, Dillian. Like, you seem like, like that old school dude, Is that because you think you grew up in Jamaica? Is that because you saw some tough times in Brixton? Is it, obviously you just seem like a different guy that, as opposed to some of these guys that are like career fighters. Do you know what I mean? And why is that?
You know what, man? I say this all the time. People don't get it, man. People think, oh, yeah. I'm just so surprised and so grateful to still be alive, man, and be free, not be in prison. And then a bonus is the fact that I'm doing something good. I'm not out robbing or selling drugs or checked up in prison or strung out in drugs or just saying, just killing myself to find day-to-day expensive. I mean, I was glad that I'm in a position in my life. I'm inspiring people, I'm motivating people, and I've worked my way to like top 3 boxer in the world. I'm just so grateful and so privileged. Because like I said, I thought I'd have been dead by early 20s. I just been in prison because that's the lifestyle I was living. That's the lifestyle that was bestowed up on me as well. I mean, obviously people will be like, oh yeah, this guy, the way he is and where he comes from and stuff like that. He ain't gonna make it. He's gonna, loads of trainers now when I started boxing say, I ain't gonna make it. He's got too much attitude. He's too this, he's too that. He's too street. He's too loads of guys, loads of guys, and they're the same guys that come up to me now and like, oh, well done, you're doing something. I'm like, yo, I remember you heard what you said, so for me, I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful, I'm grateful I'm alive. I ain't made it to where I want to get to yet. I'm far from where I want to get to. I'm still learning, I'm still improving, but I'm just grateful, my mom told me she's proud of me, because she knows my story, what I've been from, where I come from. For me, that's something like, I never had my father around and anything like that, I try, I make sure I'm around for my kids and stuff, man, it's even though they're talking about it, it's like, it's crazy, because all this stuff I'm talking about, it's not like I was an adult, I was a kid doing some crazy stuff just to survive, not because I wanted to be cool or follow or whatever, I was doing what I had to do, I was a father very early, so I had to look after my son and stuff. And, my mom had 12 kids. I used to, try and find stuff and try and help out around the house and stuff and try and make it, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy,
Why
helping my mom pay bills when I was like 13. I was like, yo, here you go. It's crazy, man.
Why do you think you made it? Like, what was it? Was it your mom? Was it the fact that you were a father at 13 and you had maybe more reasons than the other 13-year-olds to do something with your life? Was it growing up in Jamaica and appreciating Brixton, or what was it, man?
I don't know, man. There's so much things I can say why, so much things. It's my lifestyle, my upbringing, my team around me. I got incredible team around me, and one thing, I draw good people and good energy towards me as well. So, there's some people around that do so much for me every day. Sometimes I sit down and think to myself, wow, do I even deserve these people, that just, like, I got some incredible people around me, man. I just can't believe that someone like me have these people around me looking out for me and taking care of me, and people was planning and strategizing for me and helping me. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like when I haven't thought about this a long time, and now I'm just thinking about it, and it's like, it makes me sad at the same time as well as it makes me happy as well, man. It's like, it's crazy that these people believe in me, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Why is that? Why does that make you sad?
Because it just makes me like, it just made me sad. Like, if I had a good upbringing, a good future, and I had people early around me, and I had the schooling or the teaching and the guidance, what would I be? Where would I be? If I had my parents had the finance to send me to the gym and stuff like that when I was a kid, or no one in my family did any sport. My dad and granddad boxed bare knuckle when I was young. I didn't tell me because their knowledge of sport was, it was a thug sport back then. It was sport full of gangster and stuff and whatever. So they didn't tell me. So imagine if I had the support, and like now you send your kids to school, your kids probably do extra lessons in sports, and I never had any of that, man. I was like, I was a writer from I was born, really. Sad as it is, it just makes me sad to think if I had a chance in life, what would I have done, man? Because I've done all this with no chance in life. No, I've been climbing a wall smothered with butter my whole life, man.
Yeah. You ever think that's maybe why you're there? Because you did it and you earned it and you feel like you deserve it,
I don't know, man. I don't think of myself like that. I don't think of myself anything special. I don't know, man. Sometimes it's hard. People say, why do you say that? I said, I don't know. I don't think like, some people is like, oh yeah, deserve this, or I don't think like that, man. I'm just privileged, man. I'm just so grateful, man. I'm so grateful.
Tell me, what part of Jamaica is in you? Like what part of that island is in Dillian Whyte? What are the characteristics of you that come from there? What do you remember from there? Like, I've never been, but it looks like a hard place to grow up, but also a lot of culture and a lot of history,
The whole of the island's in me, man. The whole of it is in me, that's like the UK and Ireland. The whole of this place is in me, obviously, because my Some of my family was Irish and some was Jamaican, so that was a crazy mix. It's two quite highly volatile race of people, as well. So it's crazy. We had some teachings from that side and some teachings from the Jamaican side. So it was crazy, man. It was, it's a nice place, very nice place, very nice place, good weather, good food, a lot of culture, different people, different mindset, and so different religions and stuff like that. The diversity of people there is crazy. So many different people there. It's like I was saying to someone earlier today, when I grew up in Jamaica, I didn't know I was black. I didn't know my Chinese neighbors was Chinese. So I didn't even knew this guy was white. We was just Jamaicans. It was like, yo, it's crazy, man. Jamaica it's a nice place, but it's also a very dangerous place as well. It's a very, very dangerous place. It's a place where if you grew up with no family as a kid, it's easy to get into gangs. It's easy for people they use it to shop around drugs and to do stuff. And it's easy for you to get killed and go missing. Like there's people I know that growing up, they went missing and we never saw them again. People, it was crazy. It's crazy, man. Remember, like the first time I saw a dead body as well, I was like about 6. I was about 8 or 9 or something. It's crazy, man.
What do you think of these kids these days, Dillian, that grow up with their mobile phones and, everything's politically correct? And then you think about your childhood where friends go missing. I mean, do you think kids these days have it too easy, or is that just something old men say?
No, I just think it's cool. I think I wish I had all this stuff when I was growing up. I think it's cool. I think balance is key. I think balance is key. What a lot of people do in my community, they send a lot of their kids back home to go to school for a year in Jamaica, or 6 months in Jamaica, or 6 months in Africa, or 6 months in Ireland, or wherever. They send them back home so they can see, and I think that's a good thing to do if you have access to that. Or it's good to teach the kids the history as well, and for them to understand what things was like. Because a lot of people, they work hard and they get successful and then they just spoil the kids. It's like, oh yeah, so, but different times, man, different times, now we got to move forward with the time, obviously, like my young son, he can use the phone and the iPad and the computer way better than I can. I'm like, yo, you're like 9 years old. How do you know to do these things? Like, I call my son, I'm like, yeah, I want to send an email to this guy, but I need to pin this to it and do that. And he's like, that's easy. And I'm just thinking, yeah, shut up, you. It's crazy. So in a way, there's a lot of positive and there's a lot of negative as well, because when I was growing up, we was outside a lot. We was outside running around, going to the park, doing this, hanging on the street, but that also brought other troubles as well. At least your kid might be at home playing PlayStation or whatever, but you know where he is. Yo, he's upstairs in his room. You know that he is there. With me, my mom didn't know where I was for 2, 3, 4 days at a time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'll go out and just not come back. I'll go out and I went out and got shot and didn't come back for like 3 weeks.
That's crazy, man. It really is crazy. Yeah, you mentioned like the young people. Like, if there's young fighters watching us right now, maybe 16 or 17, and they're coming up, they got the skills. What's some advice you would give to them? I mean, you mentioned surrounding yourself with good people, but like, what are the big mistakes young fighters make when they're in the game, and what advice do you give to them?
They take it for granted. Oh, I'm young. Oh, I can go out and party and drink, and I don't need to train, or I don't need to do it. Man, like, just try and stay disciplined. Try and surround yourself with good people. But it's also hard, because it's easy for me to say, try and surround yourself with good people. It's hard to know who is good people. It's hard to know who is lying to you. It's hard to know who just wants to use you. It's very difficult. It's very difficult what to say to these kids, man. It's so difficult, man, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where it's going to go. You don't know if you're going to have the right people. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. So talk to me about this fight coming up. It's this probably the strangest fight you've ever had. Maybe, there are going to be fewer people there than maybe at your first Joshua fight, and I've seen that old tape, But, you know, we've seen Dana White and the UFC put these fights on where there's nobody in the crowds, right? And you can hear like echoes, and you actually can hear the body shots, and they slap and stuff. And you can hear the announcers, the fighters can hear the announcers. It's crazy. So what are you expecting from this bout, which is going to be in, what I understand, Eddie Hearn's backyard, right? By the way, I haven't got an invite yet, so I'm not happy about that. But what do you expect to bring? Are you worried about the weather? Are you worried about the crowd not being there? Weird energy, COVID tests? Tell me.
You know, I just had another COVID test yesterday. So I'm all good. When I get back to England, I got to have another one. That's all. Came back all fine. I have another one I get to England. So I ain't worried about that. You know, we kept ourselves good and obviously kept my immune system up and everything good. So I'm not too worried about that. But, you know, it's going to be strange. You know, it's going to be strange because for me, I've had fights in the big shows. I've had outdoor fights where, you know, like in Saudi, it was raining. My shoes was wet when I got to the ring. I had to wear paper bags on my plastic bags on my feet to the ring. You know, I had to do things. So for me, I think I've had, from the way my career is, I fought in front of 500 people. I fought in front of 2,000, 3,000, all the way up to 70 or whatever thousand it was in Cardiff. So I've had I went to, I remember I fought Derek Chisora co-main event in front of 40,000 people in Manchester. I went to America and fought in front of 300 people. The first fight on the card, So, you know, I mean, I've had the different stages in my career, so I think I'll be all right. And some of the hardest fights I've had, the most dangerous fights I've had, has been in the gym sparring with 3 or 4 guys coming in, doing 2 rounds in, 2 rounds out, and giving me work, beating me down. So for me, it's just going to be, that's my mindset in going into this fight. But I'm expecting a very dangerous, very solid, strong, aggressive Povetkin. Obviously, he knows if he beats me, he goes from being that guy to the guy, you know. You know, his value goes up. You know, I'm expecting him to be ready. I'm expecting him to be strong and focused and stuff. So when the bell goes, it's gonna be like it's in front of thousands of people, you know, because I'm just gonna be focusing on him, and I'll be switched on, and I'm just gonna focus on seek and destroy. So I don't think it matters whether there's 100,000 people there or 100 people or 1 people or no people.
Yeah. Do you usually draw energy from the crowd? I mean, or not really? I mean, you don't seem like the guy that needs the adoration of the crowds. Like, that doesn't seem like you. I could think of a few fighters that love it, but that doesn't seem like you.
Most of the time, the crowd's against me anyways. so.
But some people get energy from that too, being the bad guy, right? Or maybe not.
Yeah. You know, I'm used to being the bad guy and the underdog. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not the underdog going into this one again. So for me, you know what, man? I'm a survivor and I'm very adaptable. One of my biggest strengths is being adaptable. I adapt to whatever situation I get put in, you know, whether I want to or not. I just sort of say, you know what, it is what it is. I'm going to get on with it, you know. And my whole team is like, and that's the mindset and that's the energy, you know what I mean? So, you know, whether we're a good start or not, we're going to finish strong regardless. So that's done. That's standing me in great stead, you know, in preparation for this and for whatever else I do in my career, you know.
You both got left hooks coming into this fight. How does this thing play out in an ideal scenario? How many rounds? What does it look like, you think?
Man, you know, I trained for 12 rounds. I know we're talking about a guy that's won everything, every single thing, all the way up from the lowest level amateurs to the highest level amateur, Olympic gold medalist, you know, multiple trophies and tournament win, you know, all the way up from pro debut to world title. I ain't fought for a full version of world title yet. You know, I'm WBC interim world champion. So his experience is crazy. You know, his experience is crazy, but, you know, I'm expecting him to be sharp and to be motivated and to be in shape. You know, he's one of those guys that looks like he stays in shape all year round. I wouldn't be surprised if he probably comes in about 16 stone 3, 16 stone 4. You know, I'm expecting him to be sharp. He's got short arms. He throws short punches. Probably the best fight I fought technically and stuff, you know, but it's my time. And we'll see how well he copes with the maximum violence round after round.
A lot of people say you shouldn't take this fight. Why take it?
Because I ain't a scaredy cat like most people, man. You know, a lot of people is scared and they don't want to take chances and they're worried about this and worried about that. I might go to sleep and I wake up tomorrow. So, you know, that's my mindset in life, man. Make hay where the sun shines.
Yeah, amen to that. How much does the world need a proper boxing match right now? I mean, man, you know, seriously, are you thinking about that?
This is one of the reasons why we wanted to do this as well, because I could have waited till September, October time and just be like, oh, I'll wait for the crowds to come back and stuff like that. But, you know, one of the main motivation for me was my mom was a nurse. My mom's old, you know. I say to her, yo, like, you know, come out to Portugal and stay out here with me and just be safe. And she goes, no, you know, as a nurse, I got a duty to do, you know. And there's a lot of old people that come up hospitals, have operations and need medicine and they can't, no one is helping them. They're just leaving them because there's stuff going on in the hospitals or whatever. And my mom said, listen, I'm going to do my job. And when she said that, somewhere I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If she's showing such bravery, I need to do my job as well. I need to do my job and be brave and get on with it and don't just sit around and wait and think, oh, I'm mope, you know what I mean? So to me, that was a motivation for me when she said that. So I was like, all right, cool, you know what? Let's do this. Let's get it on.
I love that, man. We all got to do our job. I felt the same way the last few months. I got to do my job too. We need everybody. We need the nurses, the broadcasters, the boxers, right?
We need everyone because everyone's sort of count on everyone, you know. I mean, you don't know what you do to motivate people. I don't know what I do to motivate people. Could just be waking up and just posting a video of me going to the gym, you know, or whatever, me trying to eat healthier, you know, anything, you know, anything can motivate someone, man. So we just got to do what we got to do when we got to do it, you know?
Yeah. Look, we saw the UFC putting these fights on and entertaining people, and for me, it was a real breath of fresh air. What's the chance of you getting in the octagon with Francis Ngannou and giving him that high kick to the head that you still got in your back pocket?
No chance. Francis Ngannou don't want no smoke, you know. People always say to me, yo, what's wrong with you? You're at war with everyone. I'm not at war with everyone. I just want to fight the best fighters, man. That's all I want to do, you know. I'm confident enough to compete across the sport, whether it's kickboxing, MMA, boxing. Why not do it? I was trying to be the guy that done something that no one else has done. What reigning champion ready, you know, I fight Stipe Miocic or Francis Ngannou. I'll fight any one of them, you know. Any one of those guys, I'll fight. Any one of those guys. You know, and then imagine winning a UFC heavyweight title and coming back and winning the boxing heavyweight title at the same time. No one's ever done that.
That'd be epic. How's your wrestling, jiu-jitsu?
My wrestling is not bad. It's not bad. It's actually better than I thought it was, actually.
What about your submission skills?
I'm more of a ground and pound man. I like to get it done. You know, I can submit, I can pull up a armbar or a rear naked choke or a guillotine, you know, or something, that crucifix or something like that. But you know, I like to strike, man. I like to strike. I like to strike and I like to defend a takedown. You know, I think if you can strike and defend a takedown and like Chuck Liddell, he reigned for years with just a takedown defense.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was a wrestler, and he just struck, is what he did.
Yeah, because he knew if he boxed, they want to try and take him down. And underway to take him down, he could always counter punch him, and that's what he did. They tried to take him a step back, bam, and it's, you know, but it's easier said than done.
Yeah, it is easier said than done. Well, I got a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, so if you want to come train with me, man, I'll show you some skills.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool.
But, you know, you're right. We got Cormier-Stipe this weekend, and, you know, Cormier is an Olympic wrestler, but he keeps it on the feet, striking. So, man, you would be great with one of those guys.
Yeah. You know, I got nothing but respect for both of those guys, Stipe and Cormier. You know, there's one apiece. It's a very interesting fight, intriguing fight. One that I will be watching when I've seen how it goes. It's a good fight, man. I'm trying to think who's gonna win. But it's crazy because the first fight, Stipe made a lot of mistake and he got knocked out. The second fight, DC was fighting good and then he started making silly mistakes and then he got knocked out. Weird.
DC just comes forward. He just doesn't care. He just comes forward and he just takes shots, and then he just you know, he missed one.
He needs to be a bit smarter. He's a bit older now, you know. He's a bit older now, you know. But he looks in great shape. I saw an interview with him, I think 2 days ago, and he looks good. He looks really good. He looks really healthy. But you know, Stipe's in a coming shape, tough guy, good striker. So let's see.
You know, not many boxers can actually switch over. It's true. I mean, a lot of boxers talk smack. Mayweather said, "Oh, I'm going to go in MMA," but you know he's not gonna. You're the only guy I know that could actually make that switch. So
that's why I don't understand why they're putting Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua on the next UFC game, and none of them will never fight in a cage.
No.
None of them will never ever fight in the octagon. None of them. I don't know why they're putting them two in it and not putting me in it. None of them will ever fight in the octagon. And I'm serious about fighting the octagon.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.